I'm Austin Lugo.
I'm Andrew Harp.
This is With Nothing to Say.
Let's talk about Hard Boiled.
Before we get started today, next week we're going to be watching John Ford's My Darling Clementine. I was feeling something a little bit in the mood for noir, even though Hard Boiled is definitely inspired by noir, and there's definitely noir aspects to it. So perhaps that is why I was feeling so noir-esque. And Andrew, you suggested we watch My Darling Clementine. I'm a big John Ford fan. Andrew, have you seen a lot of John Ford stuff?
I've seen like one. I've seen like Stagecoach, which is pretty
Oh,
good.
okay.
This is kind of, it's like, this is like a, as far as I can tell, like a Western noir. It is a Western, but it is black and white.
Well, yeah, of course it's a Western. It's John Ford.
Yeah, it's John Ford.
So I'm very excited. Andrew, I'm sure you're very excited. But this week, you got to pick the film.
Yeah.
And you picked John Woo's Hard Boiled.
You bet, 1992. This is the second movie out of the past 3 times I've gotten to choose, which is a Hong Kong action movie. We kind of fucked up a little bit. We were kind of thinking like, oh, we'll choose like something like not English, not American. But we forgot like about Police Story. We just
Jackie Chan.
We just watched.
Yeah,
Jackie Chan's The Police Story. But it doesn't really matter because like whatever. It doesn't really matter. Like who cares? Like Hard Boiled is a great movie, and I really wanted to watch it again. So it's, in my opinion, one of the greatest action movies I think ever made, if not the greatest. And John Woo is one of our finest directors, and I don't think he gets enough credit. His movies don't get enough credit. He's mostly known for his American movies, but I mean, he has a really long catalog of Hong Kong movies, of course. And this is the final movie he directed before he kind of switched over to Hollywood. He still has made Chinese movies over the years, but he had like a pretty like long stint of making American movies, some of which I've seen, and they're fantastic, including Face Off, which is amazing. Like you've never seen a John Woo movie before, ever, right?
Mm-mm.
Well, okay, so like, how would you even describe? This is basically John Woo at his most like. This is John Woo at his most powerful. I mean, this really is like at the height of his greatness. How would you even describe a John Woo movie? What like features does it contain? What like makes it stand out? Like how would you even like what sets it apart?
Absolute madness. Just insane from the moment it starts to the moment it ends. His films seem to be, at least from what I've seen, which is only this movie. So again, don't necessarily take me at my word, but just an insane desire to constantly be moving. The editing is just all over the place. I mean, it's just cut. It's so fast paced. Everything just seems like it's happening at once. There's never just one thing going on in his films. I'm currently looking at the opening shootout scene, which is probably one of the most insane scenes in the movies. And it's very different from, I'd say, an American action film, in that in a lot of American action films, we kind of, I mean, of course we have our protagonists here and we follow them and all that. But with a lot of our American action films, it's kind of like we stick with that one character through the whole fight scene, where in John Woo's stuff, he seems more interested in all the different things going on. So you'll kind of be jumping from character to character to character. It's very purposefully discombobulating. And I think that's something unique to John Woo, is this ability to just make these extremely discombobulating scenes. And not only in his, shootouts, which of course are very famous, but I would argue even in his kind of hand-to-hand stuff, there's something just maddening about his work.
Fucking rocks. There's something that I think like about his action scenes in particular that kind of like reach like this kind of like, they kind of like reach this kind of like transcendental level. Like I think he's able to like actually like make an action scene particularly like beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, transcendent. It's the way that he edits his action scenes. First of all, everything in the movie and pretty much all of his like Hong Kong stuff that I've watched so far, which is like, a handful of movies so far,
Yeah.
Everything is like in camera. There's no digital effects, obviously. There's no green screen. There's not even really any like, I don't know, there's really not like a lot of trickery. There is, I mean, all there is just in camera trickery, kind of like Police Story, right? Like everything that you see is happening, whether it be like a simulated explosion, gunshots, fighting, stunts of people like falling and stuff. And, like in Police Story, there's some crazy stunts where people probably did get hurt. And of course that adds to, the level of like, insane action going on too.
Yeah, absolutely. The physicality of everyone in this film is just insane. I mean, you got people jumping over tables and doing flips and just flying and falling constantly. I mean, it's not the same physicality as Jackie Chan, right? There's kind of a difference there, but there is this, I would say, like, Jackie Chan stuff is very smooth and clean, right? Like his action scenes are really cool, but they're like everything, it feels very choreographed. And it's not that this stuff isn't choreographed, but this feels much more raw, right? It feels like not nonsensical, but rather, if Jackie Chan's movies are kind of like very particular, these films seem to me more wide ranging. They kind of move in, uh, many different directions.
Yeah, like there's so many shootouts in this movie, and that's pretty much kind of like Woo's like thing are shootouts. That's basically like the action scenes, and the shootouts are, yeah, very chaotic. Tons of people. I mean, one of the most famous things that Woo will do, of course, is like a group of people will run into a room, and then like a person has a machine gun and it'll mow them down and stuff. And I mean, all these people too. I mean, they have like squibs on them, so when people get shot. Wu also loves to use slow motion, of course. One of the things that he does to like, I guess, really sell the idea of like a person like getting killed was that his movies, his scenes, action scenes run really fast. But what he'll do is that he'll like, as a person is getting shot, it'll be kind of like a semi close up of the person being shot in slow motion, and it'll show them falling or getting shot, just to really sell you on the idea that the person is being shot, like he's being fucking gunned down. Yeah, so yeah, he loves using slow motion. He uses it a lot.
There's certainly a lot of slow motion in this film, but this film starts the same way every great film does, and I can't think of a bad film that starts this way, which is, of course,
Chow Yun Fat pretending to play the clarinet.
an incredible clarinet solo. There's never been a bad movie made that starts with a clarinet solo. That's a fact.
Yeah, one of the things about John Woo too that I gotta say is that like John Woo, he's worked with the same actors in his Hong Kong films, including Chow Yun Fat, who's basically the lead, one of our protagonists of this movie, and Tony Leung, who's the other of this movie.
One of the greats.
So and this is, I mean, this is his best movie because they're both in it. You know what I mean? Like Tony Leung has been in some John Woo movies. Chow Yun Fat has been in at least like more than one, at least more than two. I think he's been in quite a few of them. So yeah, in this movie, it's great because the combination of the two are so good because they're great actors. They're really, really, really good leading guys. So the two of them together is really fun to watch.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. And their chemistry is very much on point. Like they're just great whenever they're together, which doesn't really happen until the second half of the film, but the chemistry is great together. Like they rock whenever they're together.
Yeah, and Tony Leung, he would go on to, yeah, and Chow Yun Fat, like I never really like knew too much about him before these John Woo movies, but he's really great. He's very affable. Kind of reminds me of like maybe like a Jack Lemmon type or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely that kind of vibe going on with him. He has his sweet clarinet solo, and then immediately we jump into our first shootout scene, which we talked a little bit about, but it's just absolute chaos. There's birds flying all around. There's fucking
They're in the bird cafe.
they're in a bird cafe. People are shooting. I will say, for the first like 45 minutes, it was pretty hard for me to grasp what the hell was going on.
Yeah, honestly, when the movie when the movie starts, you're just like, okay, what the fuck is going on? But after a while, yeah, honestly, like watching it again, this is the second time I've seen in the past maybe like year or so, and like, yeah, the beginning is a little like, holy shit, what in the fuck is going on? After a while, though, once you get through the movie, you're like, okay, I kind of understand what's going on now. But yeah, like, well, like once the pieces kind of click together, it kind of
All makes sense.
you're able to get a better idea of it. I think Police Story has a couple moments like that too. It's kind of like that too, a little bit, to make another distinction of a movie we've covered. But yeah, it is a little, because it, like you said, it begins right away.
It sure does. And it's hard, especially because you're not introduced to any of these characters. I mean, for basically all these characters except our clarinet player here, Tequila, we don't really know who any of these people are. So you just see people running around, shooting each other, jumping, and you know,
Yeah, from like some indications, it's clear that Chow Yun Fat, Tequila, he's a cop. He's with his partner. They're at this cafe. There's a deal going down, and they're gonna stop it. It's like they're gun smuggling in this cafe using like bird cages in the bird
of
cafe.
course, all hell breaks loose, and people just shoot the shit out of people. Like just people just go and just die, and explosions and shit being thrown everywhere.
Yeah, tons of explosions, innocent people getting killed, innocent people just like getting killed, like just kind of in the background, like they get mauled. I like I was surprised there weren't any doves in the movie. I don't think I saw any towards the end. But there are the birds at the beginning. A John Woo trademark that he likes to use is that at random points in the movie, in his movies, not in this movie for some reason, but even in his American movies, for some reason he at certain kind of like powerful moments, or like moments leading up to like really big action scenes, he'll have like white doves flying around like randomly. It's like a weird kind of like trademark that he has. It's very like, and like there's no reason, like the white doves, like they're probably a symbol of religiosity in some kind of way. And I believe like John Woo is like, he'll include like religious symbols and stuff in his work, including from Christianity. And I think he just kind of likes like the symbolism of a bird. And in this case, like they're in that cafe and there's all these like birds in cages. I think he kind of likes the metaphor of like a bird in a cage, you know what I mean? And kind of like, I think in like, I don't know if it was this movie, but I think in another John Woo movie, there will like literally be like characters talking about like wanting to be a bird, like wanting to like have true freedom, be free like a bird. And I think he just kind of likes the symbol of like a bird and what it means to like, the greater story he's trying to tell in his movies.
Absolutely. I really like that idea of these characters being simultaneously trapped in these cages, but of course being these majestic birds, as it were, and have the capability to fly away, and yet they're all kind of trapped. And that's kind of right. That's kind of the premise of the movie here is everyone's kind of trapped in their path. Everyone's kind of trapped in their lane. Like everyone's kind of feeling no one wants to do what they're doing, but everyone feels as if like this is the only path for them. Like this is the only thing that they can do. And there's really nothing else for them.
Yeah, on both sides too, like with with the cops, you have Chow Yun Fat, which in that opening scene, great scene, his partner gets killed and then he gets in trouble because he basically executes the gangster that killed his partner. I like that bit too, where like he's covered in flour and he's able to like slide over.
Yep.
And he just like shoots him and he gets like blood all over his like flour color covered face. So it's like bright red. Yeah, he executes him. And yeah, the chief is like, what the fuck? Like, we needed that guy.
Yeah, he's definitely a cop that doesn't play by the rules.
Yeah, he's a hard-boiled cop, as they call him later in the movie, and as the title suggests. After this, we're introduced to our other character, Tony Leung. Alan, I think was his name. I think it depends on like the subtitles, you know what I mean? So maybe yours was different than mine. I think mine was like they called him Long, Long. It's the Tony Leung character. And he shows up in the movie and he's fucking cool. He's driving in his fucking badass, like, red convertible. He's driving around. This guy's cool, but he's also bad news. You know what I mean? He's a bad boy. And he is going to the library.
He sure is.
Which, by the way, even like the scene where he like walks into the library, it's like immaculately shot. Like it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like he filmed it. He filmed the library at like the perfect day. And it's not like a fucking shootout. It's just like him walking the library.
Very simple, but very smooth scene. I mean, Tony, he's so smooth whenever he's in a room. And you can clearly see that in all of the shots he's in here. He's
got a great smile.
He's got a great smile, just a perfect smile. And he walks in there. He finds himself a book, Shakespeare, no less, one of the greats. He sits across from this guy who was a traitor or whatever. Yeah, like a
He's like, hey, Mr. Hoy, yeah, keys.
And then he opens the book, and of course, and there's a gun with a silencer inside the book, and he just shoots him right in the face, right in the library in the middle of the day. Just like,
Well, he's got the silencer, so no one noticed.
I mean, but he did walk into a library and then he just walks away. Like that's pretty badass.
Yeah, he just doesn't give a fuck. He puts the book back.
Just doesn't give a shit.
He's on one. Yeah, he fucking murders this guy, murks him right in the library. Holy shit, like he fucking murked this guy in the library. Like I think they show up, right? Like the cops that go to the library and they investigate it. And I think they do determine like, yeah, this guy is like he used to work with the triads and gun smuggling and things like that. And but then I think like he sold them out or something. So they're like, okay, then there's like a motive to kill this guy. And I kind of like the scene, and I think some people might like think it's like kind of dumb or weird, but you know, like they're in the library and they're taking pictures and they're investigating the situation, and Chow Yun Fat like notices that like clearly there was like a book on the table that was removed from like the his blood splatter. His blood like running on the table, and he's able to immediately identify the book.
Sure is.
Like he's able to get it. And some people will probably be like, oh, that's unrealistic and stupid. I just think that like I just think that like from the beginning, before those two characters even met, they're like having a connection. They think alike. That it's like I understand that like some people might think like, how is like all out of all the books, like that was the first one he chose, the right one. I just think that like Wu is trying to like create a connection between these two characters immediately before they even have the opportunity to meet. You know what I mean? They already think alike. They're already like butting heads with each other.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, it is. I can see how people could think it's a bit silly or ridiculous because library full of books and first one he picks out, there it is, he got it. But I think there is some sort of psychic connection here, and maybe even something a little bit of a love triangle going on here. I don't know, something between him and Tony just feels like there's something more there, more than friends. I say, but maybe that's just me.
Honestly, a lot of these John Woo movies, honestly, I don't really find them that homoerotic, to be honest. I don't know what it is, movies like this you think would, but I don't find them very homoerotic. But his movies do have a lot to do with like friendship, like duality too is a big thing. With like Face Off is like really big about that like duality, like these two guys. Hard Boiled is like that in other movies too, where it's like two, maybe three people and they're friends or they're enemies or they're frenemies or something like that. Like that's like a really big part of his movies. It's like in every movie I've seen by him, it has that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. We're back at the police station. Tequila's girlfriend, partner, coworker person keeps getting flowers, and she sent these secret codes in which the person writes lyrics to a song, and then she like translate them into like
Numbers.
yeah, into like numbers, like the do re mi, which is that's a great decoding method. I enjoyed that a lot. I thought that was
I know it's fun.
that's fun.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of neat. That's a good way to like send information. She's clearly being sent information from
The inside.
like
Yeah.
person. Yeah, some person on the inside who can't be known. And yeah, I like their little scenes together, like with Chow Yun Fat and his like girlfriend, his boss. Like I like their little scenes together. They're fun, they're cute. There is kind of like a comedy aspect going on. I wouldn't characterize his movies as action comedies. I think they're a little too like tragic to be called like comedies, but this is a good and they're not like Jackie Chan movies, which are very much action comedies. But he does have like these little moments that are very fun and kind of do institute a level of like physical humor into it. So and it's usually pretty successful, and I think it's successful in this movie where they're like kind of like bickering with each other and stuff, and it's cute.
Fun little scenes here and there, and of course he's pissed off because she keeps getting flowers, and he's not in on it, but he's not exactly sure what's going on. He's suspicious. He's a very suspicious man. He's a detective, so he's always on He's always looking for the angle.
He doesn't really trust anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't. Not at all.
And then next to this, you also get once again you get Tony Leung's character, and he's meeting with his boss, Mr. Hui,
Hoy.
and he's hanging out. Hui. He's like hanging out with like him and his gang, and he's like, I like you a lot. Like Mr. Hawaii is saying to Tony Leung's character, I like you a lot. You're really great. Like, you're very loyal and da da da. You're really great. You do what I say. And you also meet like this other character. I forget his name, but he's like dressed really crazy and he's got these glasses and stuff. And then from there, he goes to he has another meeting with another guy who's basically the antagonist of the film, Johnny Wong. And Johnny Wong is like clearly right from the get-go evil.
Yep, sure is. Like just doesn't give a shit about anyone, willing to murder anyone for any reason at all.
He's suspicious. Like right away, it's like, this guy's. You're also introduced to his bodyguard.
Yeah, that guy's badass.
Mad Dog, who's fucking awesome. Yeah, he's like one of the most badass characters in any John Woo movie. He's awesome.
But he has his meeting, and then they go outside, and like his car is covered in newspapers. In my version, it wasn't translated. I don't know if your version like translated what the newspapers said. I mean, I can like grasp from context.
Oh, really? It is. It's like the newspapers are like headlines about like the shootout, I believe, and about like the illegal gun trading and stuff like that. Johnny Wong, he gets very upset, and for some reason, just because he's so crazy, not Park Chan Wook, sorry. Chow Yun Fat's character, Tequila, shows up, and he's like, "Yo, motherfucker! Like, listen, I'm a cop, and I'm gonna get you."
What a terrible idea.
I mean, he's just like that crazy. He's just a crazy motherfucker. Like he just doesn't care. He's just like, I'm the guy, and I'm gonna get you. And Tony Leung's character, he hits him.
Sure does.
Obviously, there's a reason why he does that. He wants to instill trust with Johnny Wong because he wants to get closer to him and
doesn't want to kill a cop.
He's about to like kill him. He's about to like Johnny Wong was like almost like gunned him down, and he's like, maybe you shouldn't do that. And he's like, yeah, you're right. I won't do that. And then it's also established too that like Chow Yun Fat, he's like, I like that scene where he's fishing. I like John Woo movies too because he always like puts these like little details in his characters that feel very random and different. They really add to the characters. I think all of his characters, they always feel like really nice and well developed, and they feel real, and I really enjoy it. Like when he's like fishing and he catches the fish and then he throws it back into the water. Like, I don't know what like necessarily that's like says about his character. You know what I mean? But like, it's a nice detail, and you could probably like input that into other things he does in the film. But with that fishing scene, he like meets the guy with the glasses that we discussed, and he's working with them. He's like, I'll give you money if you provide me information as to what's going on. And I think he lets him know that Johnny is going to raid the weapons cache of Mr. Hui.
Sure is. He's like, all right, I gotta do this shit. Of course, he first, he goes to the police station and he tries to get them on board, but everyone at the police station absolutely hates him. Like especially his boss.
The chief is like kind of reasonable.
He really is. I mean, Tequila's a crazy person.
Yeah, he's insane. Yeah, and the chief, like, yeah, for some reason he comes across very reasonable in the movie. Like he's not like a typical, like he is kind of typical like police chief guy for these types of movies, but he's for some reason there's something about him that's very reasonable about him, very nice about him.
Because Tequila is a crazy person. I mean, just everything he does is just absolutely insane. And plus, the chief knows that there's someone on the inside, and Tequila's already murdered a cop very recently, and murdered like a big suspect. So like Tequila, he's off the rails. He's not. I mean, he's great at his job, but also like not perfect. So I mean, the chief's just like, hey, like, back off, dude. Like don't like personally try to fight like 50 men. But of course, Tequila.
This whole sequence too is amazing. It goes on for a really long time. Well, not as long as a certain set piece later in the movie, but Still pretty long. Once again, I really like that John Woo. It just seems like he really they really do create and like they really do like create these really big sets where they do all these crazy action scenes. You know what I mean? Like they don't do them in front of a green screen. They don't do like on a set. Really, it really seems like they really scout out these locations or they build them, whether it be on the inside or maybe even just from the ground up. And they really, think about, okay, like how is this going to look? Like what and it's clearly like just the attention to detail is amazing, and including this scene where I don't think they built it's probably just like an abandoned thing on the water, abandoned building, and they just filled it with all these different items and it looks really believable. And the crew, Johnny and his crew, they ride in on motorcycles
Badass.
and they go fucking nuts.
They're just gunning people down left and right. I mean, everyone's just getting shot. I think one of the things I really enjoyed about this scene that the first scene I think lacked was there's really a sense of space here, and especially with each action scene, they get longer and longer, so there's much more sense of space. But I think like the thing I struggled with like the first scene in the bird cafe is it's a small location, and it was really hard for me to kind of grasp where everyone was in that kind of space, especially because it just like jumps right into it. And similarly, right, you kind of jump into it here, but it kind of grows. There's more time to kind of grow, so you kind of get a much better sense of, okay, here's where this is, here's where that is, and here's where like.
Also, John Woo, like he he all the people who are getting shot there are people, they're all wearing white,
so who's on each team.
Yeah, so who's on each side. And like Mad Dog, he's dressed in all black and he's running around with a machine gun just mowing down like groups of like guys wearing white. So it's easy to tell in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's certainly it's a one-way fight. It's not even, they just slaughter them.
Yeah, there are like corpses everywhere, like shit blows up inside. Like it's just once again, another crazy scene. And they're all riding on motorcycles. I like that one where like a guy is in like a truck, like a semi truck, and a motorcycle runs into him.
Straight into him.
Boom. Like it's clearly like a dummy that they replaced it, but it's a good cut. Like it looks kind of real. Like
insane.
I like that moment too, where after they destroy everything, Mad Dog, he lights a cigarette in that fire.
So badass.
That's such a good ass moment. That guy is particularly, I don't know that actor, but like that guy is particularly very physical. He does a lot of, I noticed he does like a lot of physical stunts.
Yeah.
In that movie, as we'll discuss. But he's like, okay, Johnny's like, yo, Alan, whatever, Tony Leung's character, you have to prove to me that, you're loyal to me and that you want to do this shit. So Mr. Hui is going to come over here and you got to fucking like shoot him in the face, or I'm going to shoot him in the face. He's obviously very skeptical because, it's clear that like probably like the Tony Leung character has like spent a lot of time with Mr. Hui, and it's established that Mr. Hui is like, even though he's like a gun smuggler, he doesn't seem to be like a horrible person. He is probably, but he's kind of like an old grandfather now, and he's just kind of like, oh, I'm an old grandfather. His values, say a lot too when he arrives, right, with this crew. They like surround his crew and they surround Mr. Hawaii, and Hawaii is like, no, put your guns down. If it's okay if you kill me, but you please let my guys go.
And so then Tony Liu's character, he goes back and forth, and then of course he kills Mr. Hoy, and then immediately just guns them all down, just like grabs a machine gun and just slaughters them right there and then.
Yeah, it's sudden, it's out of nowhere, it's fucking insane. But yeah, he really wants to get with Johnny, he wants to form that relationship. So it's sad, yeah, when he shoots him and he shoots all the guys, and it's established that one of them gets away, one of them doesn't die. And then motherfucker Chow Yun Fat Tequila, he comes out of fucking nowhere
and just starts one man against like hundreds.
He's so cool. He propels in like on a line, and he just like, he's got a shotgun, it's just him alone, and he just decks everybody. He's like throwing like grenades and shit, and yeah, it's just this big action scene. You know, he's like, I love when he like shoots like a shotgun at like a person riding a motorcycle and the motorcycle explodes in fire, but there's clearly like a person on the motorcycle. So like they were probably near like an explosion or something and they're like on fire and shit. Like that was like crazy looking. I love those shots. And yeah, just like, yeah, he's like fighting Mad Dog, and it's just like this once again another like, you know, this movie has like two actions. Like they get the most out of this location. They get two really great action scenes out of it.
Tequila, he's just all out here. He's just shooting anybody and everybody. And of course, Mad Dog is there too, being as badass as possible. And they do that cool scene where Mad Dog's like shooting at Tequila, and Tequila's like behind this car, and he like pushes the car, and of course, like the car is like exploding, and you know, there's all this like shit going on. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic.
Just yeah, those like three guys are just so good. Like the action that they do is so good. Of Mad Dog and Tequila, it's like so good, and it concludes that really great moment where you know they're pointing their guns at each other, Tequila and Alan, and Tequila like pulls the trigger like he's gonna shoot him, and then
Immediately pulls the trigger. Has learned nothing.
but no bullets.
No bullets.
Instead of killing him, Alan, the Tony Leung character, he doesn't kill him at all, and I think that probably sends a message to Tequila, like, wait a minute, like I'm missing something, aren't I?
He's suspicious. He's like, this none of this makes any sense.
It's kind of weird. Like, why didn't he just kill me? Like, I thought this guy was like a fucking triad, like gangster, and he's just not going to kill a cop when he has the opportunity.
So he goes to his boss and he's like, who's this man?
What the fuck?
What the fuck is going on here?
Who is this man?
And she's like, oh, he's a triad. He's like, bullshit. Like, obviously bullshit. He's like, nah, it's a triad. Forget about it. But of course, he doesn't forget about it.
He doesn't forget about it. By the way, you know the bartender he visits, he keeps visiting and having these little conversations with. That's John Woo.
Awesome. I love that.
I like their little conversations. They're fun. It's fun to kind of check back in with the bartender at the jazz bar. The jazz bar. It's just called the jazz bar. Yeah, and he's like, I'm gonna get him. Or like he's basically just like, nah, I'm gonna get him, but like I'm gonna keep pursuing this shit. Like I don't really care if he's on the inside or not. Like I'm still gonna pursue it.
Tony's concerned because, you know, Tequila just tried to murder him. And he's like, hey, he goes to the chief and he's like, please don't let this man murder me. Like I would like that not to happen.
Yeah, and he's gonna blow my cover too. I would like him to not blow my cover. I've been doing it for a while. He's fucking crazy, and it's clear. I like this little detail too, where it's clear that the chief really likes him. The Tony Leung, he likes him a lot. He gets him like a nice lighter for his birthday, which he remembered. He remembered his birthday.
Very nice.
And he's like, "Oh wow, thanks." He's like, "I forgot about my birthday."
Thank you so much. It's a nice lighter. Very nice. Very thoughtful of him.
And you get the boat action scene, which is another like really nice, quick one.
You get the houseboat.
Yeah, he lives in a boat. Tony Leung's character lives on a boat.
Very nice boat.
And Chow Yun Fat, like he shows up out of nowhere.
He's like, I know the truth. Like you're not what you seem to be.
Like we should team up.
We should be best friends. But of course, they're like the classic odd couple, right? They both hate and love each other. It's great. I love their dynamic. This is the first time like we really get to hear them like banter, and it's great. Wonderful chemistry between these two.
Oh yeah, they're fucking awesome. Yeah, when they talk to each other, it's always really, really fun. Their interactions together. Honestly, like the movie's 2 hours long, but like you said, they don't really interact with each other. Obviously, like I said, the movie's good because they kind of interact with each other in these kind of like roundabout ways, sort of for a minute, and then like yeah, but in an hour in, they're actually interacting with each other. They're talking with each other, and of course, they work together for like the last hour of the movie. But you have that really great boat scene. You know, he gets shot in the back, which is crazy, like with the shotgun, because the guy who lived, he comes back with his friends and they try to kill him. And of course, they're amazing at shooting. So they kill everybody and they get away. And they're like, fuck, like he got shot. And Johnny and his buds, they show up and they're like, what the hell happened? You know, it's like, oh, he got shot. We got to go to the hospital. And that's pretty much the last hour of the movie is they're in a hospital. The last hour of the movie is probably one of the most impressive action set pieces that has ever been constructed. I'm sure, you could complain and say like, well, it looks a little too bare and sparse to be a real hospital. And obviously there's some things that, they can't really like make it extremely convincing. I also think that the outside of the hospital looks a little bit too much like an abandoned building. It looks like an abandoned like warehouse of some sort. So that's a little distracting, but I still think that the effect is there. I think everything that the hospital serves is great, and everything looks, I think, as good as it possibly can, given the fact that everything is real.
Yeah, shit ton of extras, people everywhere. And it's also important to note that during the boat scene, we learned about the cranes, which is that
Oh yeah, the cranes is a really great detail. Another great character detail.
each time Tony murders someone, he makes a little crane because he hates making cranes. So it's kind of like a reminder of like, hey, here's like, it's like a counting for his sins, right? It's like each time to remind him like, hey, I've done this. And throughout the whole film, even well before this, you kind of see him every time after he kills someone, you see him make a crane. But this, like when you get the explanation of this is why he's doing it, it's kind of an atonement of sorts and a reminder that he wasn't in it for this life. Like he doesn't like what he does. He just does it because he has to. Again, he's like right, he's like a bird in a cage. He's kind of trapped there.
Yeah, I really like yeah, that's why the John Woo movies are so good, is because they do have like those really great details and stuff. And I think like John Woo is like really interested in the implications of things like crime fighting, and violence. Like he's really interested in kind of like the implications and of how it affects a person when a person kills someone else. You know what I mean? The Tony Young character is great because he kills just a ton of fucking people. He's probably at least somewhat rationalizing that he's doing it for a good cause, so he can like take down Johnny, who's actually a really bad guy. He doesn't care about killing people or anything, or violence or anything like that. He's a really bad guy. But still, like the Tony Leone character, he's still like killing a bunch of people. It almost kind of like, does it even out in the end? You know what I mean? So it's like I really like that complicated. I really like those complicated details that really make like the characters like more than just like, I don't know, like killing machines or simply like good and bad characters. I think they're more complicated than that. And I think that's, probably a real reason why you would want to watch a John Woo movie. Next to like the really big climactic and incredibly insane action scenes as well.
There's always this question of who's kind of the good guy and who's kind of the bad guy. And of course, there's some clear lines, and as we get through the hospital scene, these lines seem to like blur and things start to change, and people are jumping sides and jumping ship and all that kind of shit. There's no clear cut answers here, which is certainly unique in the world of action films, right? Typically, you kind of have your diehard like figure, right, who's just just this badass guy who doesn't play by the rules, but he does what's right.
Yeah, and Chow Yun Fat is kind of like that, but I think he's still pretty complicated, and I think he's detailed and out enough.
Agreed. Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. Like Tequila's an absolutely crazy person, and it's clear that like not all the decisions he's making are like good decisions, but that's okay because like his heart's in the right place, and that's what matters. He cares about what he's doing. He cares about doing the right thing.
Yeah, and of course, what happens is that and it sucks, but the police, the guy who's working with Tequila, he gets found out, and he gets like fucking shot in the face. No, he gets shot by Tony Leung, but he slips like a lighter in his pocket. The lighter he was given. I like that it comes into play in a weird way. So he shoots him, but he shoots him in the lighter, and it doesn't kill him. And he shows up at the jazz bar, and they get him to the hospital, which I think from then on, we don't leave the hospital ever again. We're in the hospital the whole time. Everybody shows up. Tequila's, boss / girlfriend shows up. everybody shows up and they're like in the hospital. They have like a little like action scene where they're basically going to assassinate once and for all the police, the guy who's working with Tequila.
Yeah, Mad Dog's on the case.
He's on the case. He's insane. Tequila, and I think there's also that really good moment where like Tequila, they also talk about kind of like the case itself, with like Tequila and Alan. They like talk a little bit about kind of like the point of what they're trying to do. I guess like they're, I don't know, rationalizing it or kind of arguing about it, and those interactions are really good. And but while they argue, the guy gets domed.
Sure do. I like their plan where Tony like jumps into the room because they're like following Tony because they don't trust him anymore. He like does this like tumble into the room and like shoots into these pillows or whatever. So the two guys come in and then they just shoot him right in the back. It's great. It's a great plan. I love it.
Yeah, it's a really good plan. They fucking get these two guys, and but like I said, they argue, and what ends up happening is that the guy in the glasses, he gets killed. Yeah, so they completely fail.
They're trying to protect. Kind of his own fault though. I mean, he shouldn't have left his room. He would have just stayed there.
That guy ends up telling Tequila that the guns are in the hospital.
Yeah, that's how they learn that their facility is under a hospital. Like they've built this entire secret, I don't know, like fucking
weapons catch
under a hospital.
Like no one would suspect. Yeah,
I mean, I guess that's true. Who would look under a hospital for? Look, they got the location. It's too late. It has to be the hospital.
Well, I don't even think it was a hospital before. They obviously like thought of a hospital and then they just built like a hospital, like a fake hospital. You know what I mean? So, or maybe they didn't. I really don't know for sure. I like that it's a hospital. I like, I guess it could have been anywhere.
I think if they did another warehouse, like, I mean, we already saw like a warehouse scene in this film, so I feel like there wouldn't be enough. Like, I feel like the hospital, I mean, especially because of the things that happen in the hospital, really raised the tension. I mean, you got babies there, just fucking. That's like the whole.
Exactly. You got all the babies, which of course adds like a huge level of tension, and of course just all the patients in general, like all the patients that are there. It just completely adds to it. So like Tequila and like Alan, they know that there's fucking like guns there, and so they like Tequila talks to like his boss, and he's like, look, I'm gonna give you like, oh, I'll give you a flower, a white rose, to indicate that people need to leave the hospital. And the chief shows up and a bunch of cops are there, like everybody's like kind of raring to go. And yeah, like our two leads, they're like on the case, and they're able to find out, they're able to come across a big door
inside a like, what is that even called? They're like the morgue.
They're like morgue. Yeah, that where they keep like, they're like fridges or something where they keep like dead bodies, right? Like, and they find out that like 4 of them aren't used, and they open it and it's like, oh, it's a big door. I really like that whole part where they try to get inside of it. That whole part is like really fun to watch. Even the like, yeah, it's just like a John Woo movie is great because like even the action scenes, like even the scenes that aren't necessarily big action scenes, they're really good.
I love the whole thing when they're trying to get in the door, because it kind of represents their kind of two dueling personalities where I mean, they're both kind of lone wolves in their own way, but Tony's like, oh, no, I can figure it out. And of course, Tony's more of a fighter, where Tequila is more of he's a thinker, right? He's always planning things. And so he builds like this elaborate bomb, basically.
Yeah.
Where he like takes out all of these cords, because there's like these cords that run, because it's the 90s, so like everything's connected by like fucking electrical cords, and they're like running through this pipe, and so he like takes them out, and then he like puts a bunch of fucking gunpowder in, and then he basically just creates a bomb and like shoots like at the right spot, but it doesn't work.
I think, yeah, because I think he has to like really like focus in, right, in order to do it. He like really like I think he shoots and it misses, right?
Well, I think he hits it. Well, I mean, there's like a explosion, so I think like he hits it. I just don't think it works, because then Tony's like, okay, I'm just gonna get these like 2 random chords.
Oh, right.
And then I'm just gonna like put them together, which is just an insane idea.
I think, yeah, there needs to be like more power or something
like that. And of course, like electrocuted. And you get this moment where Tequila sees, his old partner, and he's like, it's flashing before his eyes, right?
They do that. John Woo loves to do that, where he kind of like juxtaposes like scenes happening at the end of the movie. He likes to like kind of like edit back and forth scenes that kind of like juxtapose or are similar to scenes from the beginning of the movie. And yeah, he likes to do that a lot, to say like this is kind of similar to what we saw earlier. I think it works out a lot, given the style of like how his movies are edited.
Yeah, definitely, it works. And our the girlfriend slash boss person figures out that the white flower was in her pocket the whole time. Like she had the whole time. She's like, damn it, it's time to get moving. So she goes to the chief of police, who's pretending to be a doctor, and they go to, like, I don't know, whoever's like the head of the fucking hospital,
Like the manager of the hospital.
chief of hospitaling or whatever. And they're like, you gotta get everyone out of here. And he's like, why would we do that? Like, that's incredibly dangerous. These are people, like, we're in a hospital. Like, you can't just move them. They're like, no, you have to. And he's like, I'm not gonna do that.
And yeah, and of course she's just like, fuck this, and she like turns on the fire alarm, and people are like walking around confused and stuff. And while this is happening, like Mad Dog is also fighting our two leads in the weapons cache, and he's kicking their asses.
Sure is. It's so badass.
And I think Johnny also has arrived, and he's like able to like see inside too, with like a camera. And he's like, okay, put the poison in there. And then Mad Dog is able to get out of there, but they're trapped. Our two leads are trapped, and I think they're being slowly poisoned.
And while this is happening, of course, they're trying to evacuate all of these people, but Johnny Wong's like, none of these people can leave. Like, we're gonna fucking
Let's get some hostages, babe. Let's get some hostages.
let's just, and then also just start murdering people. Just anyone who leaves the building, just murder them.
Yeah, like they just are just like Johnny Wong's crew. They're just like, okay, shoot everybody. Like there's a horrible scene where like they're going down this, where like a ton of patients are like clambering down the stairs, and they just like shoot people. Like they just start mowing them down. It's like really fucking insane shit. Like, and yeah, I mean, like obviously this comes into play in a more particular scene, but yeah, it's like very it's dark. It just shows Johnny Wong's evilness.
Just absolutely pure evil. Like, does not give a shit about anything or anyone. He's here only to sell the guns, and that's it. He's willing to kill men, women, children, babies. Doesn't give a shit.
It doesn't give a fuck about babies at all. Like there's this whole room filled with babies, but they had no escape plan for them. So they're just like all like 12, like a dozen babies are just like in this room and stuff. And of course and yeah, the madam, as they call her, like she's like, oh fuck all these babies. Tony Leung and like Tequila, they like talk to Johnny Wong, and they're like, fuck you, we're gonna get you. And they have that really nice conversation too, before they exit, where I think like what Tony talks about like moving to Antarctica or something like that, and because he wants to it's 24 hours a day sunshine there. I don't know, I like their little conversation that they have. And I think also they talk about kind of like the implications of like killing someone, and but they're like, huh, we got all these explosives. Yeah, they rig it with C4 and they blow the fucking wall up. I love too when they're fucking like the morgue things, you know what
And
I
they
mean?
fly through
They fly through the air. There's a lot of, yeah, that's the other thing that John Woo's actors do. A lot of like kind of flying around. Like there's maybe some wire work done, but like get people like sliding across things, rolling. There's a lot of rolling in his movies too, and kind of like dive bombing as well. Like there's a lot of jumping around going on. It's almost like I don't know. It's kind of like a kung fu movie, but there's not a lot of punching going on in his movies. It's mostly just shooting, and his use of guns is almost like as if it's like punching, but with like from far away almost, is kind of like what I'm kind of thinking of. It's kind of like the next level of kung fu, in that guns kind of act in that kind of way almost.
incredibly badass scenes. They're going around, they're shooting people, they're flying from place to place, they're tumbling. And while this is going on, Johnny Wong's like, okay, we're just gonna start murdering people. Like, that's what we're gonna do. And Hard Dog's there. And he's like, dude, like even I have morals, and like there's no reason we need to kill these people. Like that's just completely unnecessary. We should let them go.
He's like, no, you're wrong. We gotta. I really like that scene too, where Tony, he dresses up in the, like, he gets the cop uniform on, like the blue uniform, and he pretends to like push Tequila into like the main lobby where a bunch of people, it's like a circle of hostages, and in the middle is like a circle of like evil guys, and they're just they're able to like kind of trick them. And I love that scene. It's so good, where it's just like everybody falls down, and it just happens so quickly. They're able to gun down all the guys with the gun, all the bad guys with the guns, and they're able to save all the hostages. And it's just a really great scene, very effective. It's fun to watch. And yeah, after this, it's just like pandemonium, like in the hospital. Like the SWAT guys show up too, I think.
SWAT team shows. Yep.
Yeah, like I said, this whole hospital section is insane. It's just they're just like they destroy this set. It's amazing. What they do with it.
And all this time, they're trying to get the babies, they're trying to get them out of here.
Yeah, the whole thing with the babies is really funny.
And so like they first try like pushing him out a door, but of course there's like fucking fires everywhere. So their backup plan is basically to like rappel down the side of the building one baby at a time. It's madness. Just like, and of course they're being shot at too while holding these babies.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, really, they didn't get hit, like no one got shot. And like sometimes they'll just get like hit by like a barrage of like machine gun fire, but they won't get hurt at all. Like they won't get hit.
You can't kill a baby.
You can't kill the babies. I mean, I've seen some movies like this where babies do die, like they get killed, like but in this movie, no babies are killed in this movie at all.
No babies are killed in this movie.
But yeah, I like how they like rappel them down. And one of the, and as this is happening, I think like Tequila and Tony, they're like gonna try to get, they're gonna get Johnny. And you have that amazing, I think it's like 5 or 6 minute long shot on no cuts, I think, where it's incredible. I don't know how they do it, but it's like they're just going through the halls of the hospital, they're shooting people. I mean, everything is coordinated. The only thing that changes is maybe like a slow motion is added, like maybe once or twice. But that whole sequence is amazing. And a lot happens in that sequence too. They kill a lot of guys, but also, Tony, he fucking shoots that cop accidentally. He kills a cop. And he's like, yeah, I've done that before. Like Tequila's like, I've done that before. It happens. Yeah. But like Tony is like, they really get that good moment in where he's just like completely shocked and upset that he accidentally killed a cop.
But they got to move on. I guess that's
Yeah, they just keep going. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's like kind of like the whole movie is like that, but it's kind of like how their lives are, right? Like, or how like their lives are kind of structured, where even in cases in which they kill a ton of people or they accidentally kill someone innocently, like they kind of have to still like the structure how it is. It's like, that's just how, it's like, oh well, you accidentally killed the guy. Well, it was in the process of you fighting for the greater good of eliminating some crime fighters or something like that. So yeah, it's kind of like a quick little tragic moment for you at the end, where they kill a character who we're not really familiar with or know about, but it's still sad nonetheless. And once again, I think that it's effective in telling a greater story about, I don't know, like, just killing in general and like the implications of killing someone.
they're out. They're murdering people. They're shooting shit. And Hard Dog is back. He's back, and he's
You mean Mad Dog, by the way.
Mad Dog. I don't know why I kept saying Hard Dog. Mad Dog makes a lot more sense.
But yeah, you get their final battle, which that's just also fucking crazy too. I really love that. Really, they're like in like the chemical room, right? And so like random fires are going off because they're firing at like these like think chemicals, and like, yeah, like I said, like little explosions and fires are occurring. It's amazing. I love that like really quick scene where like it's like Tony Leung is like right here, and then like Mad Dog is on the other side of the wall with like a bunch of windows, and like the camera's backing up as they're running aside each other, and they're like trying to shoot at each other through the walls and the windows, and then it gets to the end, and Mad Dog just jumps through the window.
Just doesn't give a shit.
That bit is so fucking good. Like, yeah, that shit, that scene in itself is just so like, I don't know. It just like, you know, in a John Woo movie, it just feels like every moment, it just feels really coordinated and really timed well. I'm sure if you like really like looked at his movies like frame by frame, you could find like some mistakes. But I think like he probably speeds through the parts that don't look great, you know, that don't look great. You know what I mean? Like maybe like had like a mistake or something in it. But he like really like when a shot is really good or an effect really goes off well, he, you know, of course he really ruminates on it and like does slow motion on it to really show you like, yes, like when this guy gets killed. And that's evident in kind of the next scene where Tequila, he's got the baby, right? He's got the last one and he's holding him, and you get that great scene where he's like in the room and he's just shooting guys while holding a baby. And of course, you know, there's obviously a lot going on there, but yeah, each guy that he kills in that scene is like a really slow kind of, when you see him, when a person gets like, they really like take their time to show you like him shooting a guy, and you know the blood going everywhere, and like glass breaking on guys' heads and stuff. Like they really take their time at this scene, just because like he's holding the baby, I think.
It's a great scene. I love how he moves around holding the baby. It feels a little silly, but also like the tension, you know, it's high. He's holding the baby, and it's, you know, even with one hand, yeah, even with one hand while holding a baby, he's still so badass that
He still is able to get him. He's still able to get everybody. He gets like blood on the baby and he wipes it off, which is, you know, once again, probably, you know, very interesting. Some interesting implications there, you know, just kind of very powerful. And after that, you know, you get the conclusion of that Mad Dog fight, which is, of course, like really, you know, it's tragic, right? It's like, it's sad, where like Mad Dog and Tony, they have an understanding that they're gonna let like this like group of like patients, like these innocent people go, and then Johnny comes in and he's like, "Fuck that,"
and just murders all of them.
He just murders them all, and Mad Dog's like, "What the fuck? Like, why would you do that?" And he's like, "I do what I want. I shoot anyone I want." And Mad Dog's like, "Okay," and he shoots him in the stomach, and then he kills Mad Dog, and that's the end of Mad Dog.
That's the end of Mad Dog.
I love like that character is so great. It's just like he's such a badass character. He's so cool. Like nothing can stop him. But the thing, but he's killed so swiftly because he's like vulnerable, you know? Like for a minute, he's like kind of has like a sense, he's kind of like upset and vulnerable for just like a quick second. And for it, he is punished.
That's what he gets.
And he's just mowed. Yeah, that's what he gets. Like he's not really like, he's not truly evil, you know, like Johnny is. Like you have to be like the most evil person in the world, and he's not. And I like that character's arc, even though we know nothing about him. I feel like by the end of the movie, I feels like we do know a lot about him.
It's really a tragic moment for old Mad Dog. And while this is all going on, they're planting like C4 everywhere because their plan is just to blow up the entire hospital. And so Johnny Wong and Tequila have a moment, but he's like, if you shoot me, I'm going to just blow up the hospital. So he doesn't shoot him.
He does it anyway.
And then Johnny Wong does it anyway. So then we have this wonderful scene where Tequila, with baby still, is running like in front of all these explosions.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Very fun. And he like grabs like, again, like a bunch of wires, and he fucking jumps out a window and swings down.
And it's clearly someone jumping out the window. I don't know if it's Chow Yun Fat, but it's clearly a motherfucker jumping out the window of like whatever building that they're in. Yeah, like I said, they fucking blow up this building. You of course get that little bit of comedy where his pants are on fire and the baby pisses and it puts out the fire. It's like, okay. But yeah, like it's clearly like some guy jumping out the window. And yeah, like as he's jumping out, I mean, they just eviscerate this building. I mean, it fucking explodes. Yeah, the pyrotechnic works is amazing. And it's just amazing too. It just feels, whenever this movie in particular, like when there are explosions, there's always just seems to be like people nearby. the explosions. Like they get a little too close to comfort.
Yeah, the explosions in this are mini and very very cool to watch, very exciting, very intense.
Very real. Yeah.
But Johnny Wong has miraculously survived this explosion, and with him
He did not die.
did not die, and with him is Tony, and it's or Alan or whatever you want to call him, and he's holding him hostage, and it's a whole thing, and then you have this like moment where Tequila like walks up to him. Johnny makes him like set down his gun and like slap himself in the face, like humiliate himself basically. It's a very strange moment. Tony just being so badass.
I know it's kind of preposterous, but I think it works out well where, yeah, he's like humiliating him and he like takes the gun and instead of him shooting in the head, he kind of like throws it down to his stomach. So it shoots him in the gut. And then Tequila finds his chance. He picks up the gun. He looks at his eye. He look at Johnny Wong's eye. And of course, once again, another wooism. It like goes back to like kind of like the bullet. So he kind of like forms that in his mind as if he's shooting that like little bullet and he fucking shoots Johnny Wong in the eye. And you see it too. You see like the fake dummy head of like his eye fucking exploding, kind of like, in the when they were in the bunker. And it's a beautiful moment and they fucking kill him. And yeah, you kind of get like this like moment where you're just like, oh no, is he dead? Is Tony Leung dead? Shit. And then you get that moment where like and it's like the ending comes very quickly where they're like back in the station and the chief is like torching the file of Tony Leung, which he did earlier in the movie to kind of signify like this, this cop, he's dead, he died. But instead, you see, and I was thinking about this ending. I didn't really think about it when I first watched it, but like you see Tony Leung, you get that beautiful moment where he's out on his boat and he's throwing like the paper cranes into like the water. I like to think that like John Woo's movies, they're not really like fantastical. Like they don't have like dream sequences and shit like that. But I think like the ending is kind of interesting because John Woo probably intended it for it to be literal and just, in reality. But you could probably interpret it as like Tony Leung, like whether he's alive or dead, the ending works. You know what I mean? Like the ending of him on a boat releasing the cranes, like him dying is kind of like the end of him like killing. You know what I mean? But even if he did live, that's also a good moment of him kind of like once again like releasing the cranes into the water and kind of signifying the end of his career of killing. It's over whether he lives or dies. So I kind of like the ending, even though Wu probably intended it for him to be alive. I think either way, it's kind of fun to think about.
Him sailing off into the sunset, dropping the cranes, and whether he is alive or dead. I guess even if he's dead, it still is kind of a happy ending because he gets what he wants in, right? The whole thing's over. Whether he continues on to Antarctica or if this is like afterlife or whatever. So
it's a little bittersweet just because like, I think like, wherever you go, it'll probably still obviously the symbolicness of like of you throwing away the cranes in the water, that's a powerful moment, but there's still something kind of sad about it just because like at the end of the day they are just like it is just a symbol, and the fact that like Tony killed a bunch of people is still a real like a thing that he did. So yeah, there's something still I think kind of like dark and sad about it. Ultimately, there does seem I do like that moment of him throwing the cranes in there, but there is still, I feel like Wu is trying to say something that like there is something kind of like missing still.
well, that's the end of the movie. Roll credits right there.
That's the movie. Fuck yeah. Hard boiled.
So this is my first John Woo movie. I know a lot about John Woo. Very familiar with his work. I've never seen his work, but very familiar with, especially his American stuff, Face Off, Mission Impossible 2, that kind of stuff. Very familiar with his sort of action scenes and the way, I've certainly seen a lot of scenes from his different films, but watching a John Woo film is certainly an experience not quite like any other. This man is just absolutely insane. There's just a million things going on all of the time. The editing is everywhere, just constant action, crazy shootout scenes. Everything seems to be in camera, very impressive stunts. I love our two main leads here. Just incredible actors, incredible performances, very physical performances from everyone involved here. It did take me a long time, as I said, to kind of understand what was going on, but that can easily be remedied. I mean, I watched the film as we were talking here, and on a second or third viewing, it's definitely easily remedied. So definitely something that deserves a second watch to have the full experience of it, just because the beginning can be a little confusing and the film as a whole is a bit chaotic, but I had a good time. I very much enjoyed it. I love the jazz that we got to listen to. It's always great. Love the clarinet solo and all that good stuff. I think my only complaints with this film is also what makes it great, which is it's so chaotic. It can be a bit much at times, and sometimes it was almost exhausting just because there's just so much shit going on through almost this whole film, and there's not a whole lot of breathing room, which is very purposeful. And I do like those moments where you kind of pause, but very enjoyable experience overall. I think for me, it was just a lot. I mean, it was just a lot of things. So I'm going to give this film a solid 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, if you really didn't like this, I mean, you liked it, but maybe you shouldn't watch any other John Woo movies. Like his other movies are, I mean, all of his movies are like this. So maybe John Woo isn't for you, I guess. But you know, I mean, I think this movie is fucking perfect. I think it's a 10 out of 10, absolutely clear. I think this movie, it has very little fat on it. It's one of those movies where like when I checked like the time code for it, I was surprised how far it had been. You know what I mean? Like sometimes when you do that, when you're like, I wonder how much time I've watched, and it's like, oh fuck, really? Like I've only like I've watched that much of the movie. You know what I mean? So it's a movie that I think just goes by like really fucking quickly. But I think that once again, I think John Woo's movies are absolutely entirely religiously transcendent. There's something about them that absolutely contains like the human spirit, the unshakable human spirit. And I think that there's something, and I think Hard Boiled is like the best example of that. I think it's more than just like a silly action movie. It's one of the greatest works of art ever created. It's completely free of any like pretension or any like, I don't know, like any kind of like self consciousness. It's completely it's an experience that feels completely of its own. And I think it's just, I don't know, I think it's one of the greatest works of action cinema ever produced. I think that, you know, he a lot of the themes he explores in this movie, he does a lot in his other movies, but I think he really does it with perfection in this film. Earlier we were talking about too, like I was able to watch this on like a really, really nice high quality file, and it looks so good. It just looks so nice. And you know, considering all the action that happens into it, I'm surprised he's still able to make the movie like look good, like from like an aesthetic point of view. Yeah, you know, I just don't think I would change anything about it. I don't think, I mean, you know, I'm going to be watching it many other times. You know, there's no other director like Wu, and there will never will be. And I just think that like a movie like Hard Boiled, it completely, you know, rewrites any kind of rules, and that like that there may be of movies. Yeah, I love this shit. It's incredible. One of the greatest movies of all time, easily.
All right, y'all. Thank you for listening. You can find this podcast wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at With Nothing to Say Pod. And you can find anything I do at Austin Luca 12.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at ADHerb24 and on Letterboxd, Retro Andrew, RETR0 Andrew.
And thank you all for listening.
Thank you.